Hi everyone, my name is Emily Ward and I was one of the captains on the LSU Women's Basketball National Championship basketball team. I graduated high school in 2019 from Benton High School. It's up there by Shreveport, Louisiana, so in North Louisiana. I'm actually from Bossier City, but both my parents were teachers at the school, so my brother and I went to school there. Right after graduation, about 2 weeks passed, and I made my way to LSU for summer ball. At the time, I had Coach Nikki Fargas, and I had her from 2019 until 2020, the COVID year, and then Coach Mulkey came in, so I had Coach Fargas for 2 years, and Coach Kim Mulkey for another my last 2 years. It was definitely it's hard to transition into a different coach when you're in college, just because all coaches are different. They have different mentalities, different philosophies, different cultures. And of course, as y'all know, Coach Mulkey is very intense and she goes hard at everything that she does. So it was definitely a culture shock. But I would not have traded my experience for anything. We did a lot in the 2 years that she was here. We had a ton of sellout games. We won the first ever national championship for LSU in men or women's. So that was fun. That was something that I'm so lucky that I got to experience. When we won that game, we then were able to go to the ESPYs. We went to the White House. Angel and I were the captains, and so we were the ones that handed the President Biden and his wife the LSU jersey. So that was something really cool. I'm very happy and thankful for all of the different places that I got to go through basketball. We went to the Bahamas a few times, went to Hawaii. I actually graduated in Hawaii for my undergrad because I graduated in December 2022, and over our Christmas break, we went there for a tournament, and so I missed graduation for my undergrad, and I got to graduate on Hawaii, and I took my senior pictures there, so that's something cool. After I graduated in December 22, I got my master's. So I took 1.5 years to get my master's in leadership and human resource development. Just taught me how to work with different types of people, how to work in different groups. There was a lot of group papers, a lot of group projects. Just something cool, because in that, I was probably the youngest one in all my classes. So it was cool to get to talk to people who have already had work experience. Like, some people in my class had been in the workforce for 30 something years. And so that was cool because I'm just fresh out of college, technically still in college and playing basketball. And so then after we won the national championship, I still had 1 year of my master's left. And during that year, I worked in the LSU athletic communications department. I really wanted to work with all the different sports and not just women's basketball, because I kind of had already gotten that through being a student athlete. So I wanted to see what all the other sports were about and just how they operate and everything. So I was in the press box for football games. I worked a few gymnastics meets, of course, all of the women's basketball games, worked men's basketball. I worked one baseball game. Love baseball, but it's hard to work. It's just because it's so much longer than basketball. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then my parents were like, okay, take the summer off. And so I did that. And then I had a job for 1 year. And then about 2.5 weeks ago, Coach Mulkey, 2.5 weeks ago that we're filming this. So right around Omaha, actually, is when she called me, because I was I was going to Omaha to watch the baseball game. She called me and offered me the chief of staff position for LSU basketball. And so I am pretty much the director of operations is kind of one of the other titles. So I'll be in charge of the budgeting, all the travel stuff, making sure everyone has their passports, booking the hotels, booking the restaurants. I'll be doing like all the Nike contracts, all the Kobe contracts, just kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Coach Mulkey knew that I wanted to get back into the sports world and just that I love LSU. I had a chance, I'm jumping back a little bit, but out of high school, I had the chance to go to a few other schools to play basketball. But I always told myself, I didn't want to go to smaller schools just to play basketball. Like, I wanted the full college experience. And so I think I did a great job at that over my 4 years in college. Of course, I was a student athlete, but I also got all A's. I think my GPA was a 3.75, something like that. And then I was in Alpha Delta Pi sorority, so that was a fun side of everything. I think something that's really important when you are a student athlete is you're so focused on your sport all the time that you had to have a different thing to keep you occupied. If you're just doing your sport all the time and you have a bad game or a bad practice, then it's easy to get sucked into the, oh, I'm horrible, I'm a bad player, all of that kind of stuff. So you have to have a different direction to kind of move your mind and have different friends. I love my basketball teammates, but it's something about just talking with not normal people, but people who aren't so stressed about your sport all the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed my life at LSU. I'm excited to be going back. I actually start in a week from today. So I'm excited. I know they just announced we're going to St. Thomas for Thanksgiving, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, my mom played basketball in college. She played at Baylor and Tulane, and then my dad was super athletic in high school. And so my brother also played, which my brother's younger than me, but he played a year at a community college for basketball. So I think basketball kind of runs in our family, but my parents did a good job at not forcing me to play it growing up. I actually played competitive soccer and travel soccer up until high school, and they're at the same time and they had the same season. And so it was hard for me to do both. So then I picked basketball, which was a great choice, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me, and just super thankful, and go Tigers.